Okay, so we have our technician companion cart built up in the previous video. Now we're going to open up the tooling that goes with it. I say, depending on where you are in the world, you may find the boxing to be slightly different. As that's all packaged. So towards the parts we have our foam, companion foam. We have our glue gun. We have our two component packages. We have our heat gun, a K-bar, a Z-channel, so this is what we're going to hang on the side here, body hammer, slide hammer, we have some glue, and we have our release agent. Now again, depending on where you are in the world, your release agents will vary, slightly different bottles. In the UK, you'll have this blue one here for your alcohol. That's in here. We have our collision glue and we have our hot glue for speedy repairs. And we also, very importantly, we have some literature packs and some stickers. Okay, so I want to run through these. These are quite important. They often get overlooked. So we all realise now, hopefully, if you've been following us for a while, about our 6 Cs. So our 6 Cs are incredibly important. So what we actually include, it's just like a laminated style 6C sheet that can actually stay with the cart. So if it does get dirty, dusty, you can wipe it down. Please have a quick read through these. These are going to be the key to getting everything you want to get out of this system. So have a flick through there. There are 2 QR codes at the bottom. So we have a QR code into the pull to paint process. So it's basically this in video form. And then we have another QR code for commonly asked questions. Why might my glue stick and things like that. So have a good read through there. There is a description on the bottom there between the 2 glues as well. So we have our flex glue, which is this one here. And then our hot glue for the fast, simple repairs, which is this grey fabric. So that's those. We also have a collision system tick sheet. So what we'll do, we'll go through these and we'll tick off to make sure everything's included with your pack. So they're together as well. And then we have a reorder QR code. So what we typically do is we'll put these somewhere on the cart. On the larger carts, they go up in the top corner here. We can pop them on the back. So this will take you to the site so you can quickly order replacement glues, any of the consumables that you may need. It's just a much easier way of getting onto the website. Scan the QR code with your camera and away you go. And then we have this one here, which is our 6 Cs process again. Now, you may well think, well, hang on a minute, there's a lot of reference to the 6 Cs here. This will take you exactly the same place as what these do, but obviously these can get lost if that's stuck to your cart. Anyone that comes over can scan that QR code and get hold of the 6 Cs. So very important to pack that. Okay, then we have these 2 smaller boxes. So this one here includes our tabs. Now these are obviously unique to the technician companion. So these will have all your technician companion tabs in. It also has your infrared thermometer. Another very important thing, if you read the 6 Cs, it has your black swan, knocking down tips, and then the rest is your range of tabs that we're going to be putting. And again, we'll put them in, these will go into the foam organiser, so that's all nice and tidy and kept together. Going into our secondary package, we have our 65mm U-bolt adapter, we have our tab tracks, we have our 2 grease feet, robo lifter, and we have an applicator bottle. Like I say, these will vary from country to country. Obviously shipping isopropyl alcohol in air is not always allowed. So what we generally do is country to country, we'll put in the alcohol when it gets to us domestically. So that's why there can be some differences in the bottles. So we have a slide hammer, body hammer, and then we have our foam. So just be careful when you open this. Obviously this is a foam. So what we don't want to do is cut through it. So I'll just gently slice across the top. And then we have our technician companion foam. Now these are a very, very high quality closed cell foam. They are exceptionally stiff, so you will have a little bit of fun getting them in there, but I'll show you in a second the best way of doing that. But we're all about efficiency with these systems. We want you to be as efficient as we possibly can, hence why we have on the tab tracks somewhere for your glue gun to hold, somewhere for your glue to be sat, somewhere for your thermometer to be sat, so everything is in easy reach. And then everything has been thought out in a way that follows our continuum plan. So from rough out to flat finish. So all of our systems run the same way. These foams are very, very important. It enables every tab to have a place. It's very auditable. So yeah, this is something that we're exceptionally proud of, and a lot of people have said in the shops it's really helped them, to place the tab back with it. And the other thing as well, if you do lose a tab, as long as they're in order, and if they are in order, especially on these crease tabs here, as you can see, all these are slightly all over the place. All of the edges of the crease tabs will be perfectly aligned. So it's very, very easy. If you don't know what tab it is you've lost, you can just call one of us up and say, hey, it's the 6th one up, and we'll know exactly what that one is. So let's get this mounted into our cart. So you will have a little bit of a fight on your hands, but what I generally try and do is bend the cart over, so you get it into one of the corners first. Now these are tapered to make it easier, so it's not, if you were trying to get this in this way around, you'd have a heck of a job. But when they're in like this, they're not too bad. Get that into its hole, just push that back, and then we're going to go for this back corner here. So a little bit of a bend on there. And then we go into the back corner. That leaves this corner free. Obviously there's where our K-beam sits, the K-bar sits, there's a little bit of a cutout on there, so it just helps. Okay, so once that's in, there's a little bit of space, so utilise that, push it across, and everything else will drop in quite nicely. Okay, so once that's all in, then you can centralise. What we want to make sure is our tab track, because I've pushed everything under here, over this way, want to make sure that we see a little bit of foam on the edge, so it doesn't mean that any of our tabs are going to interfere. Okay, so we have all of our components we have that make up the technician companion. So we have all of our tabs, tab tracks, everything laid out here. So a very comprehensive set of materials. These are being selected as the most sort of commonly used throughout the shop. Now obviously this is designed as a technician companion, so this will be a companion for either one of the L2Es. So you have one of these L2Es in the shop and lots of people are fighting over it. This system was designed to give the most frequently used tools, so it can go off as, into other bays to be worked upon. So what we're going to do now is we're going to mount our Z channel. So this makes up of these components here. So there's a little bag of screws that come with, actually sit in this top here. So we're going to mount that onto the side of the cart now. Now we are going to mount it on the right hand side, and we're going to go ahead and fix that on there. Okay, so what we're going to need first of all is the actual Z channel itself. So I'm going to turn this around on the cart here. This is held on with these little 8mm nuts and then 4 bolts here. Now where you put this height wise obviously is very much down to you, but personally I have it just so it sits just below the bottom of the back panel support. What that does then, it sits nice and clear, It just keeps everything just that little bit further out of the way, so you're not knocking it when you're taking stuff off, especially the thermometer. Just sits it below the top of the cart. So I'm going to go ahead and put that where it needs to go now. Okay, so now we have our channel mounted, we can start laying on our other items. Now, what we have here, we have our glue gun holder. So this is designed so if there's any drips that come from the glue gun on warm up and cool down, it lands onto here rather than dropping all over the side of the cart and on the workshop floor. So right at the end here, and then the rest of the channel sits back here now. Okay, so we've got our 2 cups, drop in there like that, and there's a space now for our heat gun, our thermometer, and our glue gun. Okay, so now we've got everything mounted on our Z channel, so that's our Z channel pack mounted. We're now going to start putting the tools on. So we've taken our heat gun out already. Heat gun's just slot in there like that. Our thermometer on the next one over, and then our glue gun on the remaining channel. Okay. The remaining pots you can either keep obviously your glue in it or your spent glue. One thing I do want to mention is these components. Now these obviously come as in the box with the heat gun, and a lot of people take the heat gun out and discard all of these. Well, these are heat deflectors, so they actually are very, very useful if you're wanting to work with aluminium and you want to divert heat away from the glued area. Obviously, what last thing we want to do when we introduce heat, we don't want to heat our glue up too much where it becomes back to its liquid state again, where it starts to separate from the panel. So popping this on the side of the glue gun will just enable us to divert any of that excess hot air exactly where we want it and not where we don't want it. So keep hold of these, put them on the lower shelf, don't throw them away. Okay, so next what we're going to do is going to load our tab tracks in. 65mm goes down the side here, and the rest of our tracks. Okay, so then we have all of our tabs arranged and our relevant tooling into the top of the system there. So, as you can see, one thing that's blindingly obvious, we've lent heavy towards the blue nylon tabs, but then we do have a selection of the smaller tabs in the ice. Reason being, the ice will perform slightly better under smaller surface areas. So, with the flex, it's all about having a bigger surface area. Tab flexes, the polycarbonate will pull about 25 to 30% harder. So hence why, as we start to lose surface area, we've given you the ice tabs just to try and recoup that, and then go into the circular tabs. You have one of each style all the way through. So that's the reason why we put those together for you. Okay, so now we've grabbed back our set of hooks, lay in here. Now again, don't forget, depending on what systems you will still have the same amount of hooks. So if you do have, if you have the L2E compact, all the hooks you need to hang everything's in there. So keep these safe, because if you do upgrade, at least you can have somewhere to hang it. If you throw them away, then you have to get more hooks in. So what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to start by hanging our K-bar. Now, our K-bar hangs off of here like this. We'll put a couple of our hooks in. And then we lay our K-bar on the side now. And now we're going to go through, and what you'll notice, all of our systems follow our continuum path. So all of our rough out tools are on the left hand side of the cart, all of our finished tools are on the right hand side of the cart. That's just to help you guys when you're selecting the tools to know which end. Obviously if it's a big heavy dent, you need to be looking at the left hand side of the cart for the tools and your tabs, and then vice versa for the smaller stuff. So now we're going to mount obviously the second of our rough out tools, our slide hammer. Now in system itself, we do have slightly from the hook. This is going to sit up underneath our slide hammer top here. So now that's going to help stop that from falling off. Obviously, if you just put this one on here and you start moving the cart, you know, they're not quite as solid. So this is what we're going to use for our first one, and this is going to go right up in the top here. It's going to lay down, and you can see now why that pocket's there for. That pocket there is just to accept the end of the slide hammer. Again, just stops that from folding around. Right, next is going to be our hammer. Okay, so we have our remaining hooks. Say my plan would be to keep these in the bag that they come with and place them underneath the cart for any future purchases, to be able to, you know, either hang these up onto the system with everything else. So one other item we have here is our captive adapter for our slide hammer. So rather than running with this style extrusion on the top for some of the smaller tabs, we do have the option to put this adapter in. This means if you start working with any of our smaller dead center tabs, it's a non-pass-through. Okay, so it just enables us to focus the strike on the center of the pod. If you want to use this, all you have to do is literally unscrew the top of this slide hammer, take this piece out, and then slot this piece in, and then do it back up. Okay, so I'm going to put that in the front there for any future reference. Personally, I like working with this style at the end, but it's down to personal preference. You know, we have both versions in there, so you can use whichever one you feel more comfortable with. Okay, then our glues. Now, I'm not going to open these glues because I want to keep them sealed, keep them clean. But what I would normally do is I would open the pack of glue, whichever one I was going to be using most frequently, and I would just place a couple of the sticks in these trays, keep the rest of them clean and tidy in the bag. And then that way, if we do get to a scenario where we are needing to change our glue stick quickly, rather than stopping and open up a bag, we'll just grab one, in it goes, and we can carry on our work. So we'll just put those across on there. You have your gloves. So we have like a small, medium, large. So keep hold of them because that glue gets hot, and then our alcohol. Now, what we're just going to do, dispense this into our spray bottle, and then you can keep the spray bottle in the secondary cup, and then the rest of your fluid down on the bottom here. So there is our technician companion, fully built up, exactly the same as it is in the picture there, on the 18-inch cart. As always, any questions, please do reach out to us. You know, we have got a whole host of literature available, but if there's any questions you want, then please do shoot us a message and we'll get that answered. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. So, thank you.
Rolling. What don't you like? Ah, bollocks.
La 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 la.